in here. They've been inside from the start. They haven't had to survive. And they just don't get it. They can't.
The very thing that makes you different is what makes you special.
Now I'm all warm and fuzzy inside.
To fight for this city. To be the symbol of hope that the Arrow never was. I am the Green Arrow.
Hello, I am Karen, and I am here with my co-host, Charles. Hi, Charles.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Karen.
Hello.
How are
This is
you?
episode 36 of the Fandom Zone. I'm fine. And Charles is showing off his
Rocking the
Fandom Zone t-shirt.
the officially
awesome.
official Fandom Zone t-shirt,
Which is awesome.
which you can
Yay.
find links for at our Facebook page.
That's right. I'm so excited that
Yep.
we have that.
You like it?
I do.
This is the
love
first
it.
time. This is the first time you get to see it. So
That's right. It's the first time I've seen it. It's very nice. It's
Unfortunately-
nice to see my design on a t-shirt.
isn't that cool? I thought you'd approve. Well, because originally Rob had the like season 1 profile pic as the shirt, and I'm like,
TV?
and I quickly emailed him, go, Rob, can you use the current season 2 artwork that's in
Yeah.
our folder?
Right.
So he goes, oh, I'm on it. And thankfully he got it up real quick because I had already ordered my shirt. So I was kind of worried I was going to get the old design,
Oh yeah.
but thankfully he got it up fast enough. So I got the
Excellent.
correct one.
And it's our banner, our season 2 banner with
And I
all
think
the
it looks
TV
good, too.
screens. Yeah.
And that's why I got it on black, because I thought it looked good on black.
It looks great. I
Just
like it.
Make the colors pop more.
Very nice.
So yeah, get one, because all the cool
'Cause it's
kids,
cool.
and you
all
look
the cool kids from the Google Plus are wearing
all the
them.
cool kids from the Google Plus, and you'll look awesome as you push your battle cart
That's
into the zombie apocalypse wearing the official Fandom Zone t-shirt.
That's right.
Okay.
I bet it looks good even with a couple rips in it and some dirt.
Rip.
Sure, it's dark, so it might not show dirt when you get dirty in the zombie apocalypse. So yeah. So again, it's episode 36 of the
All right.
Fandom Zone. We're not off topic. It's the zombie apocalypse we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
And speaking of the zombie apocalypse, the shows that we will be talking about are
I see
The
what you
Walking
did there.
Dead. It's the mid-season finale, and I hate saying that. This is no, it's not, because it's coming back in February. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not a finale. It's the mid-season break before it goes on hiatus.
Yeah.
The finale thing is so stupid. Gotham, the mid-season finale as well. Supergirl, which is coming back next week.
Mhm.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, which is coming back next week. iZombie, The Flash, and Arrow, which we will be talking about together. It was a crossover episode. And Jessica Jones, episode 2, aka Crush Syndrome.
Yes.
Those are correct, right?
I believe so. Oh, we forgot Gotham.
I said Gotham.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
Mid-season finale.
Okay, and you got iZombie, so you're cool. All right,
Okay.
we're good.
I'm always cool.
You are beyond cool.
So let's start with The Walking Dead, shall we? Because I didn't know my heart was going to be this wrenched by this episode.
Because
Really didn't. Because I didn't know I was going to care about this character so much. This is season 6, episode 8, and it's the last episode we get before February. It's called Start to Finish.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Michael E. Satrazemis.
Satrazemis, yeah.
Okay. Written by Matthew Negrete.
Yep.
And what a great job they did, I thought, of showing the different parts of the beginning of the season all coming together. We got Morgan and Carol.
Yes.
Duking it out.
And how great was Carol's faked concussion, or at least if she used
Wow.
if she had a concussion, she's just used it to her advantage. How
I
awesome
don't
was
think
that?
she did. I really don't think she did.
You think she faked it?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
She and Morgan are definitely on different ends of the spectrum as far as their wanted survival tactics go.
Yes.
And I think Carol might be a little in the right here.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd say all the arguments kind of favor Carol at this point.
Yeah. She can drop the mic
Yeah.
at this point.
If Morgan and
she
Carol are
picks it up.
if Morgan and Carol are at the debate podium, I'd say she's getting all the points right now.
Mm-hmm. Although I don't think they could be standing.
No.
Right?
No.
So we don't know their fate at this point.
Because they're both knocked out real good.
Real good. Yeah. Well, the tower fell. Zombies are coming in. There's lots of nods here to the fog, to the Omen, to I think there's a couple other movies that Greg Nicotero has given us. They're walking through the fog. One of them has a pole stuck through him, almost exactly like the preacher in the Omen, and he said up front it was a nod to the Omen, which I thought was great.
And you know who played that preacher, don't you?
I don't. Who?
Patrick Troughton, the Second Doctor.
Really?
Really?
That's awesome.
Yep.
No, I didn't. It's been so long since I've seen the Omen.
Yep. Patrick Troughton.
I connected it. Awesome.
Of course, I'm going to pick up on that.
That's great. So the walkers are coming in, and everyone's scrambling. The class on the machetes is still happening in the courtyard, and they're scrambling because I guess they're closest to where the walkers are streaming in. They start running. They run into, I guess it's a garage of some sort, a storage unit, something like that. So they're all there inside this garage, and they're having this sort of existential conversation about life. And it's about halfway through that someone knows how to lockpick.
Yes.
Which I found interesting as well.
And how great was that Eugene finally got a skill?
Yeah, right.
Who knew this was Eugene's skill set?
It is in his purview. It was so
well,
great.
He said, that is not my skill set. Or
right.
whatever. So I was just like, this is Eugene's skill set. Okay.
So great. So, but let me outline all the other ones. Rick, Deanna, who else is with him? Michonne. Is there someone else with him as well?
I don't know.
I think it's just the three of them, and they run into.
Right, because it was like later on. It's Tara, Rosita, and Eugene.
Right, they're in the garage.
They're in Denise.
Right.
Okay.
Rick, Carl, Gabriel, Michonne, Deanna, and Ron.
And Father Gabriel.
Right. And they run into Jesse's house.
Right.
Because Jesse shows up and ends up clearing a few zombies for them. And they all get waved in to their house.
Yeah, it's nice that Jesse at least entered the Rick Grimes school of zombie killing.
Yes, she did. And with a vengeance here.
Couldn't happen at a better time.
Part of it could be that she sees Ron there. So she's trying to help them get in there.
But still.
Junior Porch Dick.
Yeah, Porch Dick Jr., yeah.
Right. And this also interrupts Ron's little game of point and shoot at Carl. So that's good. And then, of course, it shows Eugene talking into the walkie at the beginning, which is what Daryl heard in the last episode. So it picks up exactly where we left off. And that's Abraham, Sasha. No, Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha are not in this episode. Sorry. Eugene. I'm reading my notes.
This show's getting like Game of Thrones, where
I know.
Like, okay, these people are here. These people are here.
Right. I'm reading my notes. So Eugene, Rosita, and Tara are in the garage.
Right.
Rick, Carl, Gabriel, Michonne, Deanna, Ron, and Jesse, plus the son that we shall talk about later.
Yeah.
Are all there. Glenn and Enid are outside.
with a candlestick. No, in the conservatory.
conservatory with a candlestick. Right. Maggie climbs up on one of the platforms in the most awkward ladder climb ever. Because
Yeah.
really, learn how to climb, right?
Apparently, she never climbed a ladder on the farm.
Right.
Right?
It looked like she started to climb sideways.
Well. What happened was the walkers were grabbing at her legs,
Mm-hmm.
so she was probably kind of worried that like she had to shake them off.
Still, just climb it,
I know.
and
I know.
you'll be out
Hustle.
of their
Yeah.
way already. But I was like, just don't climb it sideways, dude.
Yeah.
So anyway, she makes it on top of the platform. So that's pretty much her kind of out of the episode.
Yeah.
Is her up on the platform. Morgan and Carol hide out in Morgan's house. And Carol and Morgan have this whole conversation.
Mhm.
Carol says she doesn't trust him. She says she has a head injury. Morgan says that she thinks she has a concussion and that she should sit down. Denise is in the basement of that house.
With the wolf.
With the wolf, because last episode, Morgan brought her to see him after seeking antibiotics for him. So they're all there together.
One big happy family.
Yeah, which is a recipe for disaster. So let's talk about that house.
Okay.
After they get in this existential conversation about which is the best philosophy to have, whether they should kill everyone that threatens them on sight, which is pretty much Carol's philosophy, or every life is sacred, which is Morgan's philosophy. Carol kind of psychs him out and gets the best of him and runs downstairs to the wolf.
The old fake concussion maneuver.
Right. And she goes downstairs and pulls a knife on Denise and tells her to get away from the wolf.
Right.
And there's a bit of a standoff down there. Morgan comes in and steps between Carol and the wolf. And in a bit of a parallel to the episode, which was all Morgan's, Carol says, "I'll kill you if I have to." And he says, "I won't let you." Just like his mentor did. His mentor said the exact same words.
Yeah. I didn't catch that, but you're right.
Oh, no. He says it exactly like what's his name did.
Right.
So there's that. And there's this huge standoff. And again, there's a conversation about all this stuff with the knife and Dave Grohl Jr. is sitting there. I had that joke before Chris Hardwick said it, by the way.
He stole your material.
He did. Of course, because I have met Dave Grohl in person, like for reals, before he was famous.
Right.
That's a story for another time.
Well, you shared it on the previous episode.
Did I?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew him when I was in high school.
Shakes fist.
Right. So anyway, we were both in high school at the same time and same place. So anyway, Dave Grohl Jr., it's pretty much how he looked in high school, except for the W on his forehead. He had a D. But anyway.
He was a D student. No.
Right. There's a standoff there. There's, a bit of scuffling. And the wolf uses that to his advantage and, ends up taking the knife.
Takes Denise hostage.
And knocks out Morgan and Carol. And Morgan and Carol are left in a very, very bad way.
Yep.
A very bad way. So that's where we leave them.
Right.
At this point. And we don't know how bad Morgan and Carol are. And we do know that that the wolf has taken Denise outside with all the walkers and the knife. So not exactly a safe thing for any of them. And the door is open as well. They're knocked out. The door is open. Denise is outside with the wolf and the knife. Okay, so there's that. Now let's go to Jesse's house. They get inside Jesse's house, and this is okay. Let me go back up to all the people in my notes. I'm very sorry.
It's fun driving, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this one is particularly challenging.
Right,
because of all the names. So you guys will have to excuse me if I get the names wrong.
it's like the Legion of zombie killers
Right. Okay.
instead of the Legion of superheroes.
Right.
Legion of super zombie killers.
So Rick, come on,
Rick.
where is it?
Rick.
Rick, Carl, Gabriel, Michonne, Deanna, Ron, Jesse, and that stupid, what is his name? Sam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam.
I'm
who-
so
who
mad
appar-
at him right now.
Who apparently Jason Alexander was not too fond of.
No, and the Talking Dead.
Talking Dead, yeah.
Yeah, he said I'd kill that kid. And the kid texted
Yes,
in.
that was great that he tweeted in or something.
Right. And
Yeah.
James and Alexander just would not stand down. He's like, I don't care. I'm not having dinner with you. I'd still kill you. So
At least he stood his ground.
he did. I respect that game. So like, like a hair game, although it's Jason Alexander who has no hair game. So
Exactly. And apparently is dying whatever's left.
I know, right?
It's like
It's
darker.
really dark.
Yeah, it's like, someone who obviously has gray hair decided to go full dark, and it looks weird because he's got wrinkly skin.
Right. It does. It looks very strange.
So,
I
yeah.
respect the guys that go bald on the top and they just end up shaving it all.
Yeah.
It looks great like that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he never
they-
really did that.
No, he's never done that.
No, he
Or
always
they
wanted-
buzz it like
Yeah.
really, really short. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys really, I mean, it's like, hey, I don't give a crap. I lost my hair. I'm all for it. I'm in.
At least he's secure about it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Rick, Carl, Gabriel, Michonne, Deanna, and Ron, plus
Right.
Sam and Jesse.
Got it.
They're in the house. Deanna,
Yeah.
we know she fell.
Who's Deanna?
She fell and she hurt herself. So they're looking to see how bad her injury is. And
I've fallen and I can't get up.
whoops, guess what? A birthmark. And she knows. Yeah, I'm sorry. You want me to do that?
No, you don't have to. I did it, so.
Well,
Now, she did have the best reaction to finding out that she was bit,
yeah,
where she goes, "Oh, S."
right. Yeah, and she does have the presence of mind. She says, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what's going to happen. And, she's starting to prepare for things. And she's
Right.
saying to them, I'm here if you need me. In the
Mhm.
meantime, I will know when the time comes. So we'll do things when the time comes. And I'm guessing she kind of wants to say goodbye.
Right. She
Uh,
apparently wants to chat with Michonne.
yes, she does have a heart-to-heart with Michonne.
It's
She
like,
has a
when did-
heart-to-heart with Rick.
It's like, when did you get so chatty, Deanna?
Right.
Like, right when I'm going to check out, all of a
Right.
sudden.
Well, she does have some wisdom to impart at this
Right.
point. Maybe she felt like she had time to impart this wisdom
Mhm.
before, and now she doesn't. So, and I have to say that the actress, and I can never remember her name because it's
Yeah.
very difficult to say.
It is weird. Yeah, it's an unusual name.
Yeah, but
I can't
look it up
Yes.
if you're curious. But she is amazing in this episode. Quite the swan song. And she was sitting on the Talking Dead, sitting next to Robert Kirkman, just so
Passionate.
smoldering, passionate, sort of.
And
Why?
then she did push-ups on the set.
Oh, so
Like she-
badass,
She
right?
She went. Oh, what's his name from? Oh, what's that guy's name? The actor that did that. Oh, on the Oscars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
right?
from
Yeah.
from that Western movie with Billy
Yeah.
Crystal.
Well, yeah. And Batman and the Michael Keaton Batman movie.
Right. Yeah. People know what you're talking. She did the one-handed push-ups,
Right.
the regular push-ups. She was really just amazing there. And she said,
Tora.
let's
Tora, I think isn't her name Tora?
Tovara?
Tova.
Okay, something like that.
Tova Feldspar or something like
That's
that.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I get there eventually. I got it.
She's crazy good in this episode. And I think, honestly, I feel like she thought she had much more time to like co-lead with Rick.
Yes.
And this was her time to kind of get everything out in order to let Rick know how she felt about what he should do. Maybe impart some wisdom to Michonne, because she saw that Michonne really kind of was lost.
Mm-hmm.
And to also like say goodbye to the baby, because she has this connection with the baby, but I had never.
Although that was a little awkward, because
Yeah.
here she is hanging over there by the crib with her back to everybody. And you're like, oh no, don't you better not have eaten Judith.
Yeah, I thought for sure she was eating
Yeah,
the
I
baby.
was like, oh,
Yeah. Even though it's probably not Rick's baby anyway, but
still
it's a baby.
It's Judith and Carl are all he has left of Lori.
I know.
So yeah,
And he loves Lori.
even if it's not his, he's loves the baby.
Right, sure.
So yeah, he loves Judith. How can you not love little ass kicker?
Exactly.
So there, it shouldn't matter.
Right. So in all this time, there's a little vignettes with Deanna and the people in the house, or at least some of the people. She tells Rick from last episode that he didn't give the right answer, that his answer was that they're all on his team. They're all his people. And I think he finally gets it, that they're not two halves of a whole, that all the people from Alexandria are his now. And it's even more so now that Deanna's gone. So this finally has sunk in that he has to be the leader of all of these people.
At least all the ones that are left.
Yeah. And he has to put his foot down.
Right.
And I'm guessing they're going to have to leave Alexandria after all this, because there's just no diverting them anymore. They're there.
Yeah.
And then she tells Michonne that if she doesn't know where she feels like she should go from here, then she needs to figure it out. And that's essentially their conversation. And then Deanna's journey ends once they leave the house, which I'll talk about in a minute. When everyone else leaves the house, she's sitting up in the top. She has the gun. She goes to press it against, I guess it's in her mouth. I can't remember where.
No, it was under her chin.
Under her chin?
She was doing the under the chin, which is not really the best way to do it.
No.
Because you could like miss and blow your face off, but yeah, it's still.
So, well, she was going to kill herself, but she thinks twice for some reason, and this was really kind of a weird way for her to go out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she went full rage on the walkers.
Yeah.
She went, yeah,
she does like this battle cry.
Deanna smash
out into the hallway, and she uses every single bullet in that gun to shoot the walkers.
And then she pulled out a bat. And then she pulled out a batleth and went kapla.
Yeah, right? I would have expected it.
Like a Klingon, yeah.
And meanwhile,
the
other residents of the house, Sam, the weird, what is that? Flowers in the Attic kid.
Yeah, listening to the old timey.
The Tiny Tim tiptoes through the tulip.
No, it wasn't even the Tiny Tim version. It was something from the 40s or 30s.
Was it?
Like the original? Yeah, it wasn't Tiny Tim.
Okay.
I know they said Tiny Tim, but it wasn't. It was like an earlier recording.
Okay, but he's the one that popularized it.
He popularized it and covered it. Yeah.
So he's listening to this weird version of Tiptoe Through the Tulips just over and over again.
Yep.
He's got the Invincible Lego figurines on his shelf.
Nice nod.
He's drawing a picture of how Carol yelled at him that he's going to die on the swing set. That's what he keeps drawing, is how Carol yelled at him he's going to die.
She messed him up really good.
Big time. There's a cookie.
All he wanted was cookies. Yeah, the cookies now has ants all over it.
There's a cookie that's just covered in ants.
Because that's how you get ants.
Thank you, Archer.
I posted that on Twitter when that scene happened. I said, because that's how you
get ants. Yeah. Am I having a stroke? No, that's just the toast machine.
Nice.
Yes. So he's up there. Sam's up there. And Jessie is both the worst. No, she's always the worst mom. She's been the worst mom ever, right?
Because she's up there. Lori was the worst mom ever.
Yeah.
because
It gets-
can never keep track of Carl.
yeah, Jesse's
And
pretty bad though because she's got
yeah,
Porch Dick Jr., who
yeah,
is really a horrible child.
yes.
And then Sam, who just doesn't get, he's
He's
so removed from
he,
everything, he doesn't get it. And she keeps on enabling him.
yeah,
Instead of saying, you just got to buck up and deal with it, she's like, just pretend. You just have to pretend that everything's okay. No, don't pretend. Don't pretend. Nothing's okay. Nothing is okay. You have to do what we tell you to, or you will die. Because if he's pretending, then he can do whatever he wants, right?
right.
Okay. So this is my problem with her is she's one of these mothers that if we were out in a restaurant and she was at the table next to us and her kid was acting up, she would be going, shush now, use your restaurant voice. And the kid would not listen at all, right?
She would probably be on her cell phone, ignoring the kid as he's
Right.
going berserk in the restaurant.
Right. She would be the worst mother ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so she says to Sam, just pretend. And I wanted to shoot her in the face. Although the rest of her zombie killing side is maturing. The mom
Yeah.
side is just terrible.
Needs some work. Well, but something tells me that after Valentine's Day, you won't need to worry about it.
About one of them at least.
Or more.
Okay.
If you follow the comic.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm saying.
Right. Well, one of them is already just asking for it.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much. Yes.
Okay, so they have this plan because, of course, Rick and Michonne know
Yeah.
that, and it was one of those things that was established early on. You can blend in
Yeah.
if you cover yourself with zombie stuff and kind of shuffle along throughout them, and you smell like them. And
going back to like season 1, zombie camouflage.
Right, it's like episode 2 or 3.
Something like that, yeah.
Right, and he and Glenn did it in order to get supplies.
Right.
So they end up getting these sheets and just covering themselves with guts, and Gabriel is just not into it. He is just the worst too.
How great was it though when Sam walks in as Jesse's smearing the zombie guts all over her, and he's just kind of stands there in horror at what he's seeing his mom do.
Right.
Like,
and she stops and goes, just pretend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sam has those like inset eyes, and it just reminds me of Flowers in the Attic. The kids that get locked in the attic forever, and they have the deep set eyes, and I'm like, dude, if you had a sister up there, you'd be marrying her at some point because you would never leave. So,
alrighty then.
Have you never read?
No, actually, I haven't read the book, but I did see the TV movie, the original one, and then I saw the remake.
Okay.
My wife Lori was big into wanting to check. The remake is horrible.
Yeah,
go back to the original.
Well, the original's not great because the source material is
it's
rather macabre.
Yeah.
And weird.
Yeah.
So it's just his face and everything. I was like, dude, get some sunlight in there. Open the window or something. You're not in an attic.
Open up your heart and let the sun shine in.
Exactly. He looked bad. And honestly, this kid is the worst. Both of her kids are horrible.
Yep.
Horrible children. And
well, to be fair, they are half porch dick.
Yes, I know.
So they do have the porch dick gene in them.
That's true.
So
their gene is like sitting.
They're already at a handicap. So you have to kind of make allowances for that.
And I noticed when they zoomed in on the house, they showed the porch. Mm-hmm. They zoomed in on the side of that house with the porch and that area over there where Porch Dick used to sit. But anyway, so they do this thing with the sheets, and they end up walking through the house. Everything's going fine, and they're all holding hands as they walk out. And Sam goes, "Mom, Mom." Yeah. Mom.
Yeah.
And that's
shut
how,
up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
That's of course that's how we end the episode. And I just want to kill him.
I don't think you need to wait long.
February.
February, Valentine's Day, Massacre. It's going to be great.
Right.
Bring the popcorn, just kick back, and it's going to be good.
Right. And then we have Eugene, Tara, and Rosita in the smallest part of the episode, who are in the garage. Rosita says she feels like Abraham is dead.
Yep.
Because of their connection. And I wonder if maybe she feels that way because Abraham has come on to what's her face. There's that. And there's the lock picking situation. And then they run into the blockade on the road, Abraham and
Daryl and Sasha.
Yep. Right. And they get out, and who do they talk about? Negan.
Well, Negan, or they call him Negan, which I think is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's Negan.
Why wouldn't it be Negan? It's it's one E, not two.
N-E-J. N-E-G-E-A-N.
Yeah.
But they say everything belongs to him.
Yep.
And
all your stuff, everything, like
all
the
your
stuff,
base belong to us.
Yeah, that little sanitary napkin in the glove compartment,
right?
which I thought was kind of hilarious.
Right, it was kind of.
I kind of laughed at that.
Yeah, and there's also a little part where Glenn and Enid climb a tree and they see Maggie trapped at her post. So there's all that, and we don't.
And of course, Porch Dick attacking Carl with a shovel.
Mini Porch Dick.
Yeah, mini Porch Dick Jr.
Right.
Yep.
So there's that. And I wanted to do that like longer because it's Gotham.
Well, what was your rating?
What was the rating? 8.5 tearful goodbyes to Deanna, I said.
Aw. I went 8.5 out of 10 garage shovels.
Okay. Very nice.
Thank you.
So now we have Gotham.
Gotham.
211 Worse Than a Crime.
Yep.
Directed by
Jeffrey Hunt.
Written by
Bruno Heller, showrunner. Yep.
Excellent. So I have the A story as Gordon's 11, which is where Gordon, Alfred, Penguin, Ed, Selena assemble.
Right. Gotham supporting characters assemble.
Right, exactly. I have the B story as He Didn't Stand a Chance. Thank you.
Yep.
That's Theo, Bruce, and the monks.
Yep.
Plus his betrayal by Tabitha and Silver. And I have the C story as Reduce, Reuse, Recycle, which is the mirroring the pilot with Gordon and Penguin, which would be a recycle. And then the Indian Hill stuff, which would also be a recycle sort of thing. So Gordon's 11 is where they all come together.
I like that. I didn't make that connection, but that's great. I like that.
What, like Ocean's 11?
Yeah, the Gordon's 11. Yeah. I like it.
They all come together, and I'm guessing, Penguin brought a couple of his men, so I'm
hired goons.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing there was about 11 of them.
Yeah. If not, they're gonna bring more goons in and make it the full 11.
We'll call it 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. And first, Alfred.
Yeah.
Let's talk Alfred.
Okay. Yeah. Following up on that cliffhanger from the previous week.
Right. And apparently he wasn't as close to death as we thought.
No, he gets one of those blades in the back.
Right.
But apparently he's just perfectly okay with it.
Well, he's not perfectly okay, but I think, his SAS training is coming in handy at him, like gritting his teeth and, living through the pain. So
walk it off.
Right. He's in a refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping he had his waistcoat in the lining.
Right.
Of the refrigerator. Because otherwise he would just be locked in there. You can't really open the door of a fridge.
From the inside. Yeah.
Right. So
regardless of what Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull would like to tell you.
Right. You cannot.
And it cannot survive a nuclear blast.
Right.
Either.
Cannot.
Spielberg.
But he does have enough training that I'm assuming he put something in there.
Yeah.
His hand, maybe. I don't know. But they managed to pass him over, and he opens up the thing, and whoops, what would you know? They dump more trash on top of him. That's worth it. So he manages to get out. He's all dumpy, dirty, scratched up, got blood all over him, and he tries to flag down a car. And
They think he's a homeless guy or something.
yeah, no, that's not going to work very good. And I think it's funny that, of course, Gotham's finest just happen to be there. And they taser him right in the forehead.
Dope.
That was hilarious.
This is what we do to our homeless in Gotham.
Well, this is how he ends up at the precinct. So this is what starts Gordon's 11. Gordon, Alfred are there with Bullock.
Right.
And they're talking. Ed is
and Lucius.
And Lucius. That's right. Because Lucius goes to report that Bruce and Alfred aren't back yet. Alfred shows up. Bruce isn't back yet. So they start talking. What's his name? The commish says not to go after Bruce.
Barnes.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I call him the commish.
The commish. It's Ben Grimm. Commissioner Ben
it is.
Grimm.
It's the thing.
The thing. It's clobbering time.
That's right. It's paperwork time. So he says, no, you can't go after him yet. But as soon as he turns away, Alfred says, I'm going to need guns. I'm going to need this. And Bullock doesn't even hesitate. Whatever you need. Let's do it. He's in. Everyone else is in. And then Ed is listening in on all this. There's a little interlude with Leslie where she says she's pregnant at the beginning, which I'm just going to gloss over that.
She dropped the Preggers bomb on Gordon.
Right. And Ed said a riddle. She didn't get it. Ed is like, with you.
Yeah. But Lucius got his riddle.
Right.
And he's like, hey,
who are you?
You've got some skills.
Right. So he drops the riddle at this point in order to say where Gordon is.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucius gets it. They go to Ed's house. This is where Penguin and Gordon are.
Right.
That's more people.
They're lounging on the couch eating Cheetos.
Not really, but hey, whatever. Yeah.
Why not?
Selena shows up. She says she knows where Bruce is.
Right.
And Gordon says, I trust her. Let's pick her up. And Alfred grudgingly goes along with it.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
And I think this is interesting because this is the episode where Alfred kind of has to eat his words.
Well, deservedly.
Yes, deservedly. He realizes he was on the wrong side of things.
Yep.
That he trusted the wrong person.
He backed the wrong horse.
You cannot judge a book by its cover. Literally, in this case.
And he should know that, Mr. SAS.
I know. Selena might look scruffy.
Yeah.
And like she's on the wrong side of the law.
Who's scruffy looking?
Right. Scruffy looking.
Oh, wait, that's somebody else. Never mind.
And yeah, she might be on the wrong side of the law sometimes, but she is on Bruce's side. And Silver was definitely not. And he was taking Silver's side most of the time. So they all go in. They're going to get Bruce back.
Mm-hmm.
They managed to do this fight with the monks.
Yep.
With not really a good fight scene, which I was disappointed by the way.
Yeah, yep. They need Lexi Alexander to direct an episode.
Seriously, right? Supergirl is coming up.
And she's going to be, she's going to be directing Supergirl, and then she directed on Arrow.
Yeah.
Before, so
I can't wait for her to be on Supergirl.
Yeah,
especially after the Red Tornado.
Yeah, they could really use her.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Although the Red Tornado fights were better than other ones.
Right,
so far.
But
better is relative.
Right.
So
anyway, we'll get that later.
Right. So they're in with the monks fighting. The fight scene went very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up rescuing Bruce after he and Silver had all this conversation in the cell where he kind of forgave her, but he didn't let her off the hook.
Well, to be fair, they did a whole business where Silver feels guilty over what's happened with Bruce.
Kind of.
And she actually feels something for him.
Right.
But, she's still under
Theo's,
duress, pretty much.
Well, he says to her that he's just going to get rid of her if she can't convert him.
Right. So he gives her one last chance and says, "Hey, look, you have to like make him believe
Right.
that you still care about him.
Right. And if you can do that,
Then
then
yeah,
we might keep you."
yeah, maybe.
Right. And she doesn't get him to do that. And he says, "I just want you to know that I'm seeing through all this. So later on, when you look back on this, just realize that I didn't see through all this," which is just cold.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's just cold. And I think it's good though, because
Mhm.
it's definitely a Batman thing to
Yeah.
do. And he's wearing, I noticed through this whole scene that Silver is, while they're in the cell, Silver is always in shadow. Whereas
Mhm.
before, she's always been kind of lit,
Right.
this goldeny sort of glow. And Bruce is in this white shift sort of
Yeah,
angel.
it's like a ritualistic gown, almost like a a larger christening gown.
Right. But he's always got the shafts of light from the window on him,
Yeah.
at least partially. And I found it a very interesting way to light him. It was very cool to see that he's always in the light and she's always in the shadows in this situation. Very cool. So, horrible fight scene there. They end up getting one up on the monks, which is just stupid because they haven't been able to do that before.
The Order of Saint Dumas. Yeah.
Dumas.
Dumas.
Yeah. Theo gets away, ends up getting up to his little, what is it, a penthousey sort of thing?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Wherever he's hanging out.
Right. He says he's going to take Tabitha and they're going to leave Silver behind.
Because they only have 2 parachutes.
Right. So I guess Silver's just going to get taken in by the police or whatever.
Right.
And Tabitha is like, no, you didn't, because she can see that he'll just leave people behind no matter what.
Well, Theo starts bullying Silver.
Yeah.
And that kind of pushes Tabitha over the edge.
Right. And so she says, "Okay, well, 2 of us are leaving and it ain't you."
Yeah, whack.
Right.
She clubs him upside the head.
Right.
And then Tabitha and Silver bolt out the window with the parachutes.
Well, she pushes Silver, to be fair.
Yeah, but still.
Right.
Still.
And they leave him there to get captured. And he gets captured by Gordon until the Penguin comes up behind. Oh, until Barnes comes up behind him. Right. And he says, you don't want to do this. But he's already going to take him in. He's got the cuffs on him and everything. And then that choice is taken away by the Penguin.
Right.
Who comes in and knocks out Barnes. And he convinces Gordon by saying this one phrase, one thing: the system is not going to work. It's already let you down once before.
Right.
And he thinks to himself, you know what? You're right. He's already gotten free once before. Let's do it. And so he takes him. They go down to the docks, and it's a mirror of the pilot. Where they get him out of the trunk, and he lets Penguin beat him with the baseball bat.
Yeah, and apparently does more than that.
Yeah.
Because as we find out later, he kind of inserted that baseball bat. Or no, the umbrella.
His umbrella, yeah.
His umbrella.
But that was post-mortem.
Yeah.
So he was beating him with the baseball bat, and then he says, stop doing it. Gordon says, stop. And Theo's saying, that's enough. Kill me, whatever. And Gordon looks at him, and he's got his gun out, and he doesn't even blink, and he shoots him.
Cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded killer. And I think this is finally, all this stuff piling up is him realizing he didn't kill the flamingo, and the flamingo ended up killing a police officer.
Right.
He let Theo get taken into custody for justice, and it didn't work last time. So what else can he do? He's going to kill him this time.
Yeah.
So he does this, and then Penguin goes and gets his umbrella and shoves it down his throat. I guess his calling card in this case.
Right.
And I do want to say right here that the coroner has Theo at the end of the episode. So
before that though.
Yeah.
Before that, Gordon does the most WTF thing ever
Mm-hmm.
because he goes and finds Leslie
Right.
and he pops the question to
Right.
her.
I know.
So it's like, I just killed this guy.
Right.
Time to go pop the question to Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what?
I know. And
What?
depending upon what happens with him,
Yeah.
whether he gets caught, whether he gets,
That's your moment. That's the moment to pop the question.
there's so many variables in play that there's no guessing on what her answer is. So that was really weird, I thought.
Yeah.
A strange choice.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So
especially when everybody's going to go like, well, what happened to Theo?
right, right,
Oh, maybe we should ask the guy who punched him in court.
right, exactly. Well, they're going to blame it on the Penguin.
Well, officially.
Right, because of the...
Yeah, because, hey, he's convenient.
Right.
It's like, well, yeah, of course.
And the umbrella.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm guessing they didn't dump him because the coroner had him right away.
They might have left him right there by the
By the dock.
side, by the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they don't dump him. I guess Gordon, his conscience wouldn't allow that.
Maybe he wanted him found as a message.
Oh, that's an interesting take on that.
Possibly.
I wanted to talk about that as well.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, he is wheeled into Indian Hill.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
And they say that Doctor Strange is looking forward to messing around with this one. With the
And not Marvel's Doctor Strange. This is Professor Hugo Strange.
Right. Played by B.D. Wong, coming up in the second half of the season. B.D. Wong is brilliant, so I can't wait to see that. Now, is she going to be pregnant with James Jr., do you think? He's the eldest, right?
He is not the eldest.
Oh, Barbara is.
Barbara is.
Okay.
As far as I believe so. Well, I could be wrong.
Have they ever established that for sure? Or have they vacillated? Or
I'm trying to remember. I want to say, well, no, I take that back. Because in Batman Year One, James Jr. is the one that gets rescued after he falls off the bridge, and Bruce has to go diving after him. He dives off the Bruce, like when there's that big showdown, and that's so. James Gordon Jr. is the oldest.
Okay.
So she should be pregnant with James Jr.
Okay. So that's a maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows who she's pregnant with? But I'm speculating it's James. And then while they're wheeling him into the Indian Hill scene, you see fish floating in one of the tubes, which I find interesting. The mention of Doctor Strange. After that scene, the Gotham logo shows. And as Jeff Gentry pointed out to me, over the last few episodes, that logo has been getting icier and icier. There have been things floating in the water and yeah. And this one actually froze and broke apart, which was awesome.
Right, because we get a tease.
Yeah, we see a man running, and then
he's pursuing the alley, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze shows up. Yeah,
that's Mr. Freeze to you.
Yeah, and he freezes us.
Yeah, he aims his gun.
Cool.
He aims his gun at the camera, which is a great way.
I loved it.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good way to do that.
So, what did you give this episode?
I give this one because it was kind of I know you hate the term mid-season finale.
Yeah,
and I love seeing Mr. Freeze. I was geeking out over that. And I like the whole arc with the Silver and Bruce. I kind of actually like that, the way that played out. I give this one 8.5 umbrellas jammed down the throat.
Awesome. We're on the same page. 8.5 carjacking butlers.
Nice.
So that's cool.
Awesome.
On to Supergirl.
Yes.
106, Red Faced. Directed by Jesse Warren, writer Michael Grassi and Rachel Schuckert.
Yep.
I have A story, B story, C stories on this one as well.
Okay.
A story is Anger and Android Issues, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Beat a Bomb.
Nice.
B story is Daddy Issues ×2. And C Story is mommy issues and a shout out to smarmy / douchey billionaires. So
The douchey theme returns.
that's right. Well, sort of.
Yeah.
So we have Red Tornado, obviously, as the main story in this one.
Yep.
And General Lane is here. And he is.
And we also have Justice League villain Thomas Oscar Morrow.
That's right.
T.O.
T.O.
Morrow.
And it is the same actor playing T.O. Morrow as it is playing the Red Tornado.
Ido Goldberg.
Yeah. And I honestly liked the costume of the Red Tornado. I know some people didn't.
I did not.
Yeah, you did.
I'm holding off my hand. I thought it could have been better.
Okay. Well, then anything could be
He
better.
He looked a lot like a Power Rangers villain,
Oh,
in my
right.
opinion.
Oh, okay. I see that now.
I like the execution of the powers.
Okay.
I like the
Good.
little spinning hand
Hands,
that turns into the vortex.
Okay, that's cool.
You know, that was cool. And I liked the facial makeup was fine.
Mhm.
I had no with the eye contact
Yeah.
lenses and all that. I had no problem with that. It was the costume itself
Okay.
that needed some serious work. Plus, it needed a cape because Red Tornado looks cool
Yeah, he
with
should
a
have a
cape.
cape. Yeah.
Where's his cape?
Right.
And so yeah.
Well, the one thing I like about this show is how it uses textures on the costumes.
Right.
And it had a lovely texture, I thought. In each part of it, it had a different texture. It was shiny and
Right.
slick in some parts, and it had like nubby parts on it and everything. I don't know what it is with that, but I like it. It's like her costume has different textures too.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was a big Tron moment in the end when she stares and it all goes all Tron-y, and then the music's kind of Tron-y too, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
And I fangirled over that. I'm like, Tron, Bruce Boxleitner.
I like Tron too.
Yeah, I love
So,
Tron.
yeah.
So Red Tornado's here. T.O. Morrow brings him in, and General Lane is testing the alien. He won't call her Supergirl.
Right.
Calls her the alien.
They seem to be kind of associating with the whole upcoming Batman versus Superman. Like, we have this fear and distrust of aliens.
Yeah.
Especially
Well, that's kind of the theme of the whole secondary theme of this show.
right.
Is we don't like aliens, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, it's a lot big xenophobia
right.
that permeates the storylines in this series.
Right. Especially with Hank Henshaw being head of the
DEO.
Right, DEO.
Yeah.
So General Lane, I think, is the most unlikable General Lane in all of existence, in every iteration of the super.
I don't know. Lois and Clark's was kind of a jerk too.
Yeah, but this one's
Our
really
president.
bad.
Yeah, but yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
He could get better. He could win him over.
This one?
Yeah, and the oh yeah, because Michael Ironside was a jerk too on Smallville.
Yeah, but he
as Sam Lane.
He was understandable. He was protecting his daughters.
Yeah.
And he was kind of loving to his daughters. We didn't say any of that in this one. He wasn't loving to Lucy at all.
Well, as long as she was doing what he wanted, he was okay.
There was no loving, though.
No, there wasn't loving. But
nothing.
Yeah.
There was like a little bit of respect towards her when she was his assistant.
Right.
At dinner, there was nothing.
Unless
anything.
Lois was his favorite.
Could be.
And
who's
Lucy,
married to an alien.
Well, and they've talked about that. They've kind of addressed this here and there that Lucy always felt overshadowed by Lois.
Right, which is why
so she joins the military to kind of overcompensate to try to please her father.
Right, which makes her one of the most hated characters in all of DC Comics, right? I mean, isn't she one of the most hated characters? She's up there.
She can be.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's insipid and terrible.
She's great when she's just Jimmy Olsen's girlfriend.
Right.
But in Supergirl comics, she ends up becoming Superwoman.
Right.
And
she's terrible.
Because her dad basically gives her this suit, says, "Okay, you
Kill
go
things.
become Superwoman so that you can fight Supergirl."
Right.
Yeah.
and kill things.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just awful in this, I think.
Yeah.
And the actor did not show any finesse. Not
You
that he
talking
did a bad
Glenn Morshower? You
right.
talking about? Yeah.
I don't think he did a bad job, but there was just absolutely no leeway.
No redeeming quality.
Right.
Right.
It was all just your fault, your fault, your fault.
A one note character.
Yes. And I think that's how he was written, to be fair.
I agree. That's how the script felt to me too.
Right. And it was, he brings the red tornado there and he says, go at it full force, go for it. And when she does, he says, well, it's your fault that he went off.
Right.
And then
she's getting blamed for crap that really she shouldn't be getting blamed.
It's so not her fault.
Yeah, it's like your robot, your android malfunctioned and it decided to go off and become homicidal.
Right. And then she saves their lives.
How is that my fault?
Right. She saved their life.
Right.
And again, he finds a way to blame crap on her.
Right.
He yells at Jimmy and he pretty much just, if he was like a super rich guy, he would be writing him a check to get out of his daughter's life.
Right. Like Moira Queen.
Pretty much.
Did with we'll get into that later.
Exactly. So there's that. He is just a terrible person and I wanted to kill him. Again, I wanted to put a bullet right through his neck. Let's put it that way.
Ugh.
Again, we'll mention that later too.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah. Maxwell Lord is, of course, on the news calling for a regulation of Supergirl as well. So she's getting it from all sides. Also, Lucy has gotten an invite. An invite to Kara's house.
Right. For game night.
Right. And Kara had no idea about this invite. And she is.
And all of a sudden the show turns into Three's Company.
She's thrilled about it. Can you tell how thrilled she is about it? Yeah, so they have this game night. And of course, Lucy and James know everything about each other. Right. And Kara, who hasn't been there that awfully long at her job and all this stuff, she and Will just don't know that much about each other. Win, sorry.
Yeah.
Don't know that much about each other. They fail miserably. Win is just terrible. I mean, everybody's terrible in this episode. He is the worst.
Yeah,
at this game.
Is.
He can't get a single clue out. The one clue he does get out almost outs her as Supergirl.
Right.
He says, "Oh, this is easy. Your cousin really likes this guy."
Yeah.
And it's pretty bad. So game night doesn't go well. And Kara
and Win is moping over Kara. Kara is moping after James.
Right. So Kara is not doing well here. Back at work, Kat's mother has visited her and given her this inferiority complex.
Right.
Kat takes it out on Kara. Kara yells at her. They go up for drinks, which is weird, I thought. But, in the comics, Kat is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So they might be hinting at that. Who knows? She ends up drinking a bunch of Kara's drinks.
She gets better.
Yeah. She got better.
She got better. Yeah.
So she tells Kara at one point that she's angry about something else. Mm-hmm. And Kara doesn't believe her.
The inner anger.
Right. She doesn't believe her. She says, "No, I'm angry at you." And she says, "No, you're angry at something else."
Right.
And she doesn't believe her, but at one point she invites James to have like this exercise session.
Venting. They vent by punching. They're gonna like vent their frustrations on punching bags.
Right.
Quote unquote. Right. Punching bags.
Right. Except that where James has a real punching bag, she has a car hanging from a chain.
Because otherwise, she just wrecked that.
The punching bag would be ruined.
Like if you remember the one where Steve Rogers in the first Avengers movie just belts one across the room.
Right.
Imagine if Supergirl got a hold of that. Because
it would be done the first punch.
Dust,
right.
Just like that.
So she hangs a car up on a chain and a Kara up on a chain.
I see what you did. Yeah. But I kind of liked the idea of her using a car as a punching bag.
I loved it. I
That
thought it
was
was
a good idea.
great. Very funny. A
Mhm.
nice sight gag.
Yep.
And they end up hitting it. And she realizes what she's really angry at is that she can't have a normal life.
Right.
And she does mention to James that she feels jealous of his relationship. And in her head, she's saying that she feels something for James, I'm sure. But
Right.
James is kind of maybe getting that vibe, but not really. I mean, she doesn't say it out loud, but
He seems kind of clueless about it.
a little clueless, yeah. He
Yeah.
knows there's something under there, though. I think he does kind of
He
feel.
doesn't want to look though. He's
Yeah,
just like, we'll ignore that
right. I
for
think
now.
so. Well,
Yeah.
for now, because of
Right.
Lucy.
Yeah.
And I don't think he cares that much about Lucy. I think she's comfortable for him.
No, they end up together.
I know.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying.
So, there's all that. They end up decommissioning the Red Tornado.
Yeah.
And they find that Tio Morrow has actually interfaced with the Red Tornado
Yes.
with his brain. He's
Right.
controlling him with his brain. Which is very strange.
I'm controlling you with my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So while Kara fights him out on the rooftop, Alex is fighting with him inside.
Right.
And Alex manages to kill him inside. And the Red Tornado stops up top and then restarts, becomes,
Reboots.
as she says, sentient.
Yeah, not
But it's
sentient.
sentient.
Yeah.
Makes me crazy anytime someone says that.
Yeah, it grated on me too.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, it did.
I hate it when anyone says sentient.
Sentient. Yeah.
It's sentient.
Yep.
So she ends up fighting again, and I guess she uses her anger and directs it correctly this time, makes herself, in the title, as it says, red-faced, literally.
Yeah, she's just right. Supergirl smash.
Right,
and
kind of like Deanna.
And yeah, exactly. And she unloads with the heat vision.
Right.
Like really
full blast.
Piles it on.
Right. And ends up defeating the Red Tornado. He
destroys him.
Right, completely obliterates him.
Which I'm like, Red Tornado, you need to keep him. But it's like, well, I guess they build another one.
Right, or they don't need to keep him.
Yeah.
They don't really.
But he just became sentient, so it's like, and then you kill him.
Yeah. But it's a TV show. Yeah. There's millions of villains they can pick from.
But Red Tornado is not a villain. This was the other thing that made me crazy. It's like, Red Tornado
he's not a villain. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. What are you doing?
I know. But they did that on Arrow just a few weeks ago.
I know. That made me crazy there too.
I know. So that's pretty much it. She realizes she has horrible anger issues and she needs to figure out what to do with them. There's other issues. They're going to find out what happened to Daddy. Right. That's a small thing. Alex is getting hit on by Maxwell Lord again. And he got a look at Red Tornado's arm, which might come into play in the future.
Right.
And
how interesting was it that Red Tornado comes back? When he comes back, he's got two arms.
I know, right?
So did Tio Morrow give him an arm, or did somebody else?
Right. Who knows? Yeah. So there's that. And then, and Red Tornado gets defeated in the end.
Yeah. Yep.
So
well, then they give the whole background about Jeremiah's death.
Right.
So,
yeah. Now,
so
where is that going to come in? Because that is not Hank Henshaw's background.
No, but what they said, I wrote down what they said. Okay, They said, Wynn's talking to Alex and Kara about finding this file on Jeremiah's death. He says, Jeremiah and Hank supposedly went down to South America to apprehend a hostile alien.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them went missing, presumed dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Hank shows up with no memory of the event.
Mm-hmm.
Hank then decides, I guess, he's redacting and deleting files on Jeremiah's death.
Right.
And then Alex assumes, well, guess what? He must be the murderer.
Right. But see, here's the deal.
Yeah.
I guess we're supposed to assume that this is where Hank Henshaw was replaced with whatever he is now.
Yes.
But that is not how.
Cyborg Superman. Oh,
But that's not how it worked. His family died in that incident, which is
Right.
why he is going after aliens.
right.
So they better come up with a plausible story for this.
I know.
Let's find out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay, so what do you give it?
In the meantime, Kara has no, she cut her finger.
Oh, that's right. So why did she cut her finger? There's
Yeah.
lots of theories.
She basically exhausted her powers.
That's what people are saying.
And then she's temporarily human.
Okay. Also, Kat has a green ring.
Yeah. There's all this solar radiation in her body because that's how Superman and Supergirl's powers work, is they absorb solar radiation and process it into superpowers.
Right.
So
you think she expended too much?
She unloaded with the heat vision and then kind of drained the tank.
Okay.
So now it has to build back up and then she becomes strong again.
Okay.
That's
I think it's funny that Kat has a green ring, that's all, and her hands were down there.
Oh, you think it's kryptonite. Interesting.
They've mentioned the green ring before.
That's possible, but she didn't claim anything of weakness, though.
It's just a small green ring.
That's true. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Okay.
It could be anything. I gave it 8 Toyota punching bags.
Nice. That was pretty much what I did too. So I'm gonna go. Since you took that one, I'm gonna take.
No, you can take that too.
No, it's cool. Eight telepathic relay headsets.
Very nice.
Okay.
I thought that headset looked cool.
It did look cool. I want one.
Me too.
So I can throw my brain into an android. Yeah, simpatico.
That's right.
Right.
So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. closure.
Okay.
Directed by Kate Woods, writer Brent Fletcher.
Right.
Here's my quick and dirty summary. R.I.P. Rosalind and Lobot.
Yeah, I was bummed when I saw Lobot died.
Me too. I was upset.
Lobot.
So
you will be avenged, Lobot.
Wade makes the most implausible shot ever.
Right.
My husband and I were going over the sniper thing.
Yeah.
And it is virtually impossible to make this shot. There's no way.
Because it's so far away. I mean, ridiculously far away.
Not just that, but
even if he has a super sniper rifle.
It's not just that. He's in a wind tunnel, essentially, with all these buildings up on both sides, cars running underneath.
Variables.
Trees on both sides. It was a spur of the moment thing, which they even mention later in the episode. It's great what you got. It's in such short notice.
Yep.
He didn't know where they were sitting. Exactly. He got it through a window and into her neck. And it's 8 blocks away, which is probably what, a mile and a half?
Unless his mutant superpower is to snipe people from very far away.
Sorry, no.
Yeah, I know.
And a mile and a half is like a record, and it's from a high distance shooting downward.
Right.
And he was equal distance. And so it is just and it took me out of the show right at the beginning. And then that is not a good sign as far as I go. Now,
it ruined the episode for you?
No, it didn't. I loved the episode.
Okay.
I really did love the episode, but that was just annoying as hell.
It was. I agree.
And I don't like that they give Wade anything good at this point. He shouldn't be able to do anything good right now.
You mean Ward?
Ward. What did I say? Wade?
You said Wade.
Okay, sorry. Ward.
Yeah, Ward.
Yeah, that Ward shouldn't be able to do anything right.
No.
Let's not give him anything badass, okay? So there's candles all around. I'm only going to mention this for one reason, is candles all around, classy as all F.
Right.
Candlesticks, china plates.
It's supposed to be heartbreaking.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like a typical Whedon show.
Yeah, but wait. Yeah. And then big old burgers in in
But that was
paper
cool.
wrapping.
But that was awesome. I love that.
I know it was. I just thought it was really cute
It was.
that she and Coulson are sitting down at this classy as all
they were
get out dinner
They were gonna have that burger meal.
that they had already said, "Hey, let's have a burger sometime."
Yeah.
And she puts all this ketchup on her plate for the fries, and then he can't open the ketchup because of his hand, so she opens it for him.
Yep.
It's so cute. And then right in her neck and down. She's dead. Poor Coulson can't get one. He can't,
And then Coulson shakes his robot hand and goes, Ward!
Right. It's this and then this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. And he knows it's Ward because right away there's a phone call. Now you know what it feels like. Out.
Taunting.
All of his goons come in and Coulson's a badass. He manages to get out. He uses one as a human shield.
Yep.
He throws off a couple others before the rest of them can get in. He puts a air freshener on top of a bunch of candles. It blows up and distracts them so that he can shoot them all and get out. He's amazing.
That was a great move. I love that.
Yeah, me too. He's amazing. So he ends up going, he gets a bunch of info on Wade from his team.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have all known Wade intimately, apparently.
It's like, who hasn't this guy had sex with?
Right.
Yeah.
It almost seems like Fitz and he have been intimate.
Well, they were close for a
They
good
were close,
while.
but from how he's talking, I'm like, did you have a thing with him?
Right.
He was looking at a picture of me with my family, and I'm like, dude, seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, so
he was like my brother.
Right. So he gets this picture of Wade as, he's longing for family. Okay, really? You couldn't have put this together before? Duh.
Yeah.
He's craving for someone to love.
Right.
You couldn't get it last season. So he tracks down whatever it is. They get a brother. Oh, let's go rob a bank. And Hunter has experience robbing a bank.
Because of course he does.
Because Hunter.
Right. Exactly.
And they go to rob a bank, and one of the Ritter children is working in the bank. He's one of John Ritter's children.
Right.
It was evident if you looked at him. He looks just like John Ritter. So they kidnap him, and he is Wade's brother.
Right.
And even though Wade pushed him down a well and tried to kill him as a youth, he still wants to protect him. So they use him as leverage once he has kidnapped Fitz and Simmons later on in the episode. And when he kidnaps Fitz and Simmons, that is when he kills Lobot. He uses Lobot to get in and kidnap Fitz and Simmons. Lobot, who was working with them.
Right.
Oh, so sad. I miss Lobot already.
Yep. He could always bring him back.
Yeah. I'm very sad.
That doesn't sound like very sad music.
Well, I don't have my...
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't know. I guess that's it. Right. Okay, so Lobot's dead. Rosalind's dead. The only people they were able to get in there and work with. And it's Mr. I'm going to point guns in your direction, which is pretty much his only power at this point.
Yep.
Pointing guns at people.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? And sticks. Didn't he point sticks at someone too?
Probably.
Guns and sticks. He can manipulate weapons. So they get Fitz and Simmons, and they have Wade's brother in return. And they're playing the standoff game where they have Wade's brother, and Coulson is really playing it tough.
Yeah, he's perfectly willing to sacrifice Ward's brother.
Right. I'm sorry. I keep saying Wade, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Ward's brother.
Yep.
Please excuse me. It's Ward. What I'm doing is what Kat is doing to Kara, and I'm saying his name wrong.
Deliberately,
because I don't like him.
Right.
Okay, so Wade is Wade is contacted and he gets put on the phone with his brother, and his brother's not playing along so well. I noticed because he's like, you tried to kill me and don't come near me anymore. And I feel like Coulson's going to say, dude, just stay on the phone with your brother. Can't you just keep him on the phone for a minute? But he manages to keep him on the phone. They're tracking him. They take the phone away, and Ward finally catches on, you're tracking the phone. So they find him in this castle in England. And they figure out
Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire.
Gloucester, is that how it's pronounced?
Gloucestershire, yeah.
Gloucestershire. Okay,
So
let's go.
they find him in the castle, and he has Fitz and Simmons there, and he's trying to open the portal. It's the old dude that's trying to open it. Malik.
Yeah.
So
Powers Booth.
Right. They get there. Boothy.
Yeah.
They get there, and
oh, Boothy, you nut, you.
Right. They're trying to shoot the plane out of the sky, and this is all well and good with Coulson. That fits in fine with his plans,
right?
Because he's going in, and this is also an amazing dead shot because he goes flying down.
Coulson goes right off the reservation at this point.
Yep.
Everybody's telling him don't jump because there's like surface to air missiles and stuff coming at you.
Right.
Coulson's like, screw that, and just like goes for it.
Right.
And it does like a perfect swan dive
right into this
portal.
Tiny little well.
He sticks it he nails it like he was like an Olympic diver.
Right. I know, right?
At this point, like he was Greg freaking Louganis at this point.
Right. And when everybody else has gone through, and it's Fitz and Wade and his team, and I'm saying Wade, you noticed?
Yes, I noticed.
Ward and his team, and then right at the last minute before they can close it, Coulson does a swan dive right through it.
Yep.
And
he gets but sadly he only gets a 6.7 from the East German judge
because he hits his head on a rock.
Yeah,
I got a rock.
Yeah, exactly. It was like I do this badass move, and then all of a sudden I end up on the planet of the blue filter, and
right.
then I roll down a hill. Right. Remember?
Yeah.
It's the blue filter planet, and then it rolls down a hill.
As you
wish, exactly.
Nice. And then head on the
thunk hits a rock.
And then I got a rock. And then Wade and his team are off exploring. And why did they not let Fitz wear an outfit? That's just cruel. They gave him goggles, but he's wearing a suit. They gave him goggles.
Yeah, well, you can say kiss that suit goodbye.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thanks that sandstorm.
And he has promised, because he loves Simmons so much, that he's going to get Mr. Astronaut Dude and bring him back.
Which is a big mistake.
I know.
Because he's the entity.
I think so too. So there's all that.
Calling that.
I'm sorry, but Ward, no.
Yeah.
There's just no way you could make that shot, and you are not coming back.
Right.
You are just simply not. And I guess we don't know what has happened to the plane. Is that true?
No. Right.
So there's that. And is there...
I mean, it was kind of like up there, but then they focused on the portal, and then they switched to the plane of the blue filter.
Right. But the plane was like doing this thing. It was... Yeah. It was not in great shape.
To be continued.
Right. And we're getting another episode next week, so...
Yep, because then that goes on hiatus.
Right, after next week.
Because the Agent Carter's coming up.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Rating.
My rating is 9. Amazingly dead on shots. 1 through the neck, 1 through a portal.
I give this one also a 9. We're kind of like, we're really in the zone.
I know, we really are.
And we didn't even like share each other's ratings.
We didn't. You didn't put anything in the document this time.
Nope. So I gave this one 9 out of 10 super duper long range sniper rifles.
Excellent. And I'm sorry, I just have to say one more time, no.
You're right.
That shot is just a no for me.
It's not happening.
No.
Okay, next.
Let's blaze through this. iZombie 208, The Hurt Stalker. Michael Whale, written by Sarah Sadi.
Yep. Sadie, I don't know if it's, whichever. Saidi.
I just did not like this episode at all. I don't know about you.
Well, I kind of thought it was okay.
All right. I'm not into stalkers.
Yeah, that was a stalking thing, but that was
Okay, so Liv, is drinking the brain of a stalker in this episode.
Yeah, that's the gist. Is she takes on the stalker personality?
Right. And this stalker gets killed in a garage, and we see the murder, which is
Right.
interesting, but we
Right.
don't see who did it. It's a guy beating up a woman, and then someone shoots her.
Right.
So we know the guy is part of it.
We think the guy was going to kill her, but then all of a sudden, yeah, somebody
Bait and
takes her off.
switch.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
But then she's like has ties to someone.
right.
We find out that, oh, guess what? She's has a history with Clive.
With Babineau. That's right.
Babineau. Well,
What? It's
So-
Babineau, right?
Clive Babineau, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to help me with this one.
I will help you with this one.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll stepping in. Tag me.
Her name is
Okay.
Regina. I'm tagging you.
Yeah, tagging me. Okay, so
I have
apparently-
notes, but I'm scattered on this one.
yeah, Regina's like a wedding planner, and Clive used to date her.
Right.
And apparently his gun is the one that supposedly shot her.
Right. Thank you.
So therefore, Clive is the main suspect of this murder.
Right. So he
So
can't.
Liv
That's the
eats
case.
Regina's brain to help Clive.
Right.
And of course, she turns out to be crazy stalker girl.
Right. And so a guy named Bosio gets put on the case.
Dale Bosio. That's
Right.
the FBI agent that's been helping Clive with the,
Oh, okay.
yeah, her.
Okay.
The one he's kind of flirty with.
Right. The
Yeah.
blonde.
Right. So yeah, so we got some stuff. Liv is in all stalker mode, so she like gets into Major's phone, being
Oh,
all
that's bad.
paranoid, and she finds Rita's name in there. So she's like, "Who's Rita?
And in
Who's
a very bad move, she tells her roommate about
Yes.
Rita because this leads to a horrible thing at the end of the episode.
Yes, because she's like some skank or something named Rita.
Right. Well, she
and-
already knows that Major is
Yeah.
the guy that Liv is
Right.
seeing.
Well, see, yeah, well, yeah, Gilda has figured this out.
Right.
She knows everything.
Right.
Liv does not.
Right.
So
When
yeah,
Liv says she found this Rita leaving texts,
right.
then of course Gilda is going to text again
Yeah,
so that Liv finds it.
pretty much.
And she's going to be just an evil witch.
Yeah, yeah. Now there was a great scene. There was great bits. It's kind of a recurring gag, but Ravi was harassing Clive using Game of Thrones references.
Yes, I thought that was great.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
And he's just being real coy about it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny. And Clive doesn't want anybody to know that he likes Game of Thrones,
Right.
which is even funnier. So Liv ends up breaking into the back of a black SUV to find out who the owner is.
Mm-hmm.
The driver comes back and, oh, guess what? It's the police chief.
Mm-hmm.
And Liv gets busted.
Yep. In his back seat
Yep.
with a scrapbook.
Yeah. And a candlestick. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she ends up getting thrown in the slammer,
Yep.
which turns out to be quite the dilemma because she cannot have any brains while she's in the slammer. And we know what happens if she doesn't get a regular brains.
However, I have to say, if
Yeah.
I had that roommate,
Yeah.
I might think about killing her too.
Pretty much. Because, yeah, this roommate was just snoring like crazy, being obnoxious as all get out.
Yeah, talking about how she was
Yes.
incarcerated incorrectly.
Right. And,
It's
like
bad.
she's like, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter.
Right. It was very
Which,
bad.
yeah, it was bad. I noticed that some like black viewers of the show were kind of pissed off about that a little bit.
All right.
That making a stereotype.
Well, then they should get mad at Orange as the
That's-
new black
Yeah,
dude.
I know.
because-
The same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. So yeah, Liv's about to go full on zombie with
Mhm.
Chomper. Ravi just happens to bail her out at the exact perfect moment, conveniently.
Thank goodness.
Brings her a nice brain shake made
Yeah.
with Regina brain, so she becomes even stockier.
Yep.
And she apparently got a page from the scrapbook proving that the chief had an affair with Regina.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened. Over at Max Rager, Major's helping Vaughn work out. Vaughn drinks Supermax, gets this massive burst of adrenaline, gets all ragey. Max
Mhm.
Ragey. Get it? Get it? And somebody nearby annoys him as he's working out, so he like throws a medicine ball at him.
Right? And he ends up knocking the guy down
Pretty
hard.
much. Yep. Liv is caught trying to break into Major's safe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which Major put stuff in that
yeah,
she shouldn't have found earlier, but
right.
when she
Yeah.
breaks in and he opens it.
Well, she asked him to open it earlier. He said, "No, I'm not going to do that."
Right,
It's the brain talking.
right. But
So
then later,
yeah, he opens it.
and luckily,
But all that happens to be in it now is an engagement ring
her
that.
old engagement.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, he took out all the syringes and
Yep.
stuff they had in there before.
And then right at the end, as they go to bed, Liv sees a text to Major from Rita.
Yep.
With a sexy photo of her body, of course, hiding her face
Yep.
in sexy lingerie.
That's right. Well, she does it on purpose. She knows Liv is.
Because this is an HBO, we wouldn't get full frontal.
Well, of course.
No.
But I mean, she's not going to show her face because
Yeah.
she realizes Liv will probably see it.
Yeah, hoping Liv will see it.
Right.
Actually. So that's a cliffhanger.
And I like when Clive brings the sandwiches.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out where he lives based on where the sandwich place is and everything. He doesn't want to give it away. Well, these are going to be the last grandma sandwiches you get. So, and they end up.
Robbie's upset about that.
Yeah, when they find out who the killers are, and they go to the cleaners, and they end up arresting them and bringing them in, they kind of blackmail the chief into keeping all the other stuff on the down low.
Right.
Because they had found that scrapbook, and they kind of keep that scrapbook out of evidence. So it's like, you keep all this other stuff off the record with the ME office, and we'll keep your scrapbook out of the evidence pile. So there's that little bit. I don't know if that's going to come into play later.
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't the best episode ever, but.
No. What'd you give a rating?
I give it 7 orchestrated texts.
Okay. We were pretty close on the rating because I gave it 8 out of 10 sexting photos.
Oh, there you go.
So
sexting photos.
Sexting photos.
Very nice.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about The Flash and Arrow as one episode.
Because it's basically one story.
It is, yes.
Part 1 and part 2.
First of all, I'm going to say the only thing I'm going to talk about this part of the episode is the baby mama part. Just no.
Okay. All
just no. Because not that I mind them bringing it up, but
they set it up earlier.
Yeah, that's fine. I kind of was hoping they'd bring it back up because, baby Oliver.
It was a dangling plot line.
That's cool, yeah. But then, first of all, why would she ask him to keep it a secret from this woman she's never met?
Right.
What does she care?
Right.
Right. Especially since Moira is dead now.
Right.
She has no reason.
Well, maybe she figures that if the more people he tells, it might get back to William, her son.
Okay. But again, who cares?
I know.
Okay. And then
I agree.
Why would he even care about keeping that promise? All he has to do is say, look, she doesn't want me to tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyway because honest.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so that whole thing bothers me. Why would he not? Why would he leave the DNA testing with Barry? Because, there's always the chance that Barry would let it slip because he and Felicity are BFFs.
And apparently everybody on Arrow and The Flash blabs everything else.
Right.
So
why would he have Barry test it? Why wouldn't he go somewhere and have them test it?
He figured Barry's my bro. He'll keep it on the download for me.
Sure, but he's Felicity's BFF.
But
right?
he didn't deliberately tell her. He just was very stupid about it and was like, "Oh, I saw you super speeding something into your pocket."
Right.
What was it?
Still, He knew he was going to be around
I
Felicity.
would have said it's something for me. I'm not going to tell you. That's what he should have said.
Right. It's
Just
private.
keep your nosy nose out of my business, woman.
Still, she had a right to know about it, period, because she is
I know.
part of Oliver's life.
Well, yeah, exactly. She does have a
She
right,
should know about it, and
but it is
that woman
Oliver's
has
kid.
no right to ask for that in exchange for him seeing his son.
Yeah,
He should be able to tell his
Yeah.
significant other about it,
yeah.
period. So that's all I'm saying about that. We're going to let that go now.
Well, what happened? What if though we still have the mystery grave?
Yeah.
So
it
what
could
if
be
the
Mom.
mom is in the mystery grave and then Oliver has a kid to take care of?
Sure. That would be fine.
Yep.
But then, Felicity is going to go all Hulk smash on him.
Yeah.
And there's going to be no more Olicity.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Which I would be okay with, but that's just
Yeah.
me at this point.
It's not just you.
I'm kind of tired of her.
Well,
I think
how they're writing her, let's put it that way.
Well, I don't like the way that. All right, I'm just real quick. I don't like the way that she's kind of dragging Oliver down from being the badass vigilante he once was.
To being
She's
Paul Prudhomme.
She's domesticated him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's cooking souffles, making souffles, and
He
like
was kind of badass in this, though.
he was, but
He shot a lot of arrows.
Yep.
Really fast.
And he knows how to play some really good action figures.
Right?
So there. Yeah.
He did the feet right.
Yeah. Yep. And he got,
All right.
but anyway.
Okay.
So.
But I'm not commenting any more on that story. Seriously, it's just the worst.
All right. Ignore it.
We have Barry trying to run faster on the treadmill.
Right.
And then that's Wells and Caitlin are trying to get him to run faster. And Wells says, well, I might have a solution to that. I'm going to work up this sort of serum.
Yeah.
And Caitlin isn't sure where she stands on that, but whatever can get him to run faster because they need to defeat Zoom.
Velocity 6.
Right.
Which may be a precursor to something else.
That's right. So he's crafting this.
Yeah.
And this comes into play later, but there's that. So he and Caitlin are working on that. In the meantime, Vandal Savage has come to town.
Yep.
And he announces himself pretty quickly.
Vandal Savage coming to town. Vandal Savage is coming to town.
Everyone's naughty in his eyes. Because he throws knives at people a lot. He kills a guy at the docks, and he leaves all these knives in him. And he ends up finding Hot Girl, and Hot Girl has no idea that she's Hot Girl.
Yet.
And he calls her Shiara, or is that her name?
Cheara. Which is the original Egyptian name.
Correct. Shiara.
Like, and Khufu was the Prince Khufu was Hawkman's original Egyptian name.
Right. So she goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. You're very weird. Get your knives away from me.
Right.
And they get away the first time. Cisco is like, look, lots of weird things happen in this city. So you got to get used to it.
Right.
Am I summing it up all right?
It's a Central City thing.
Right.
It's what we do.
And he ends up like outing himself as having some powers. He brings her to all of his friends because he tells everyone that they all have powers.
Right. Right. And this made me mental, totally mental, because they everybody's sharing everybody's identities, and it's like they just met Kendra.
Right. Just
met her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's just share oh, she's with Cisco. I guess she's okay.
Like, Barry's dating Patty.
Right.
And she still doesn't know any of these things.
Well, apparently she needs to hang out with Cisco because Cisco will blab it.
Right. So Cisco just brings her in, and now she knows not only that Barry is the Flash, but she knows that Oliver is the Arrow. And,
Green Arrow, yeah.
Right. And
she knows everybody.
Right. Everyone's there, right?
Yeah.
Barry, Oliver,
Diggle, Black
Diggle
Canary,
and Laurel and
Speedy, and yep,
right. So they're all there, and
they're
she's
all
like,
there.
"Oh, I didn't know all this." And then, lo and behold, her lost lover from all the other times,
Yep.
Prince Khufu, comes down and sweeps her away.
Sweeps her off her feet.
Yeah,
Literally.
and takes her to a building top. And what they don't know is he's trying to protect her, but they think that he is not a good guy.
Right.
So they're trying to find her, and
Right.
also Vandal Savage
There you go.
is trying to find her. And at this point, when Barry is trying to find her, he does that thing where he sees himself again.
Oh yeah.
And he
well, you're really jumping
realizes-
ahead here. Yeah.
Well, isn't it at
'cause
this point where he sees?
Well, no. What happens is, okay, Vandal's looking for this thing called the Staff of Horus,
Right.
which relates to that little artifact that Constantine was looking for.
Correct.
So yeah,
It's
So
part
anyway,
of that artifact.
part of that. So yeah, so this weapon apparently called Carter and Kendra to Central City.
Mm-hmm.
There's a battle, like Green Arrow and the Flash show up at this church. Savage uses this staff to make the church explode, and then he takes off. Kendra jumps off a rooftop, unlocks her abilities.
Okay. Well, that's after Hank throws her off the building, and Barry rescues her because she's not quite sure of who she is yet.
Yeah, she first has a fail moment.
Right. Hank is all thrilled and figures she's going to figure it out, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So second time it works. She unlocks her abilities. Cisco gives her the name Hawk Girl because, of course, he has to name her.
Right.
The team decides to regroup to Central City to take down Vandal Savage for good. And then we had that annoying plot line with the Oliver's kid, so we won't talk about that.
Yeah, please not.
Now the location shifts to Central City. Malcolm orchestrates this meeting between Savage, Barry, and Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
And Savage demands that they turn over Kendra and Carter, or else he will destroy Central City and Star City with the Staff of Horus.
Okay.
They come up with this plan to deliver them as a ruse to get close to the staff. However, the plan fails big time.
Right.
And this
Why
is
was
where
I calling him Hank?
I don't know.
Okay. His name's Carter. Just go back and
Carter Hall, yeah.
Oh, because his last name's Hall. That might.
I thought his name was Wade.
Okay, yeah, could be. Nice callback joke.
Thank you.
I liked it.
So yeah, the plan fails. So Barry.
There you
go. Barry is apparently the only one who survives this because everybody gets all destroyed by this Staff of Horus.
That was a cool fight scene, by the way.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry takes off running, and there's a cool echoing.
Mm-hmm.
Echoing none other than Reverse Flash himself, where he says, "Run, Barry, run!"
Right.
So Barry runs, and then of course he hits the time, starts breaking through time, meets himself again.
And it's a good thing he remembers that from the first time that happened,
right?
Because now he knows he has to change time.
And this is where I get frustrated because they established before the first time he did this that there were two flashes until. So where's the second flash? Barry's there the first time. He time travels back. There should be two flashes there.
Yeah.
They kind of ignore that. Yeah, I know. This is not the time travel you're looking for.
Hand wave.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a fair fight if there were two Barrys.
But still, there should have been two Barrys.
Yeah,
here.
I know.
Okay.
So they have a fight, but things go better because he's telling them that they need to be honest with each other and all this other crap.
Yeah. And then Kendra needs to figure out her powers, how to activate her powers better than what Hawkman was telling her to use rage.
Mm-hmm.
Cisco tells her to use the nurturing priestess that she was.
Right. And there's lots of flashbacks that she's having to Egypt, but she's not telling Carter this.
Right. So she's drawn to him, but she doesn't know why. She's a little weirded out by like all these like flashbacks of her making out. And hey, wasn't it great to have flashbacks that actually mattered again?
Right. No island.
Yep,
It was wonderful.
it was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Um,
I didn't like seeing I mean, I liked not seeing that
Yep.
weirdo hick on the
Yeah.
island this time.
And if you notice, we didn't get the flashbacks until we switched to Arrow.
Yeah, which was good.
Yeah. So yeah, so they try the revised plan again this time. But with this time, of course, they bring in Black Canary, Speedy, and Diggle.
Even though they don't do much.
They don't do much.
No.
They're just there. Although, like, yeah, we get to see Black Canary use her canary cry again, where she like gets her mouth all weird.
Pretty much like Deanna again.
Yeah, like she's a blow-up doll.
Right.
But
Yeah. Deanna, then Supergirl, and now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's a
Is that
canary
what
cry.
superhero girls are good for? Just yelling?
Not Black Widow.
Yeah, that's true.
Black Widow will kick your ass.
That's true.
That's why she's awesome.
Speedy.
And Speedy. Yeah, that's true. So afterward, yeah, they basically destroy Savage's body, turned it to a pile of ash.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, you're like, wait a minute, wasn't Vandal Savage supposed to show up on Legends of Tomorrow?
Right.
So like, what's up with that?
Yeah, well, someone.
Yeah, because someone comes by later. It turns out that Malcolm swings by.
Uh-huh.
And he's like,
he's been coming out of the shadows, and there was a really great joke on the Flash.
Yeah.
When he steps out of the shadows on the second time, and Flash goes, "Do you always show up like that?"
Exactly.
It was a really great joke because he's always just stepping out of the shadows and going, "But wait a minute, it doesn't work that way."
I hope there's there's a outtake where Barrowman ad-libs something.
Yeah, that would be great.
A comeback for that. That would be great. So I'm hoping
wait for the
have to wait for the Blu-ray set for that one. But yeah. So Malcolm's like getting out the dustbuster, hoovering up the ashes.
I hope he got them all.
Yeah, and
so he's not missing a fingertip or something.
That could be awkward.
Yeah.
So apparently, what's he going to do? I guess he's going to throw it in the Lazarus pit or something.
He did throw it in the Lazarus pit.
Yeah,
that's what he did.
And
here's what the theory is, that
Vandal
Savage's nature is to be immortal.
Right.
So it's going to refresh the Lazarus pit and also bring Vandal Savage back to life.
Whoa. Interesting.
Yeah, I know you figured it out already, right?
Well, I would think there would be just more than one Lazarus pit. You wouldn't need to refresh
it. I know that, but on the show there's only one.
Okay.
Far. We know, you and I know there's more than one Lazarus pit.
Right.
But on the show they've only showed one.
Yep.
So
after, anyway, all this is all said and done, Kendra and Carter decide, well, I guess we're going to stay together and we'll use our powers to help others in another city.
That's right.
So we got to set up the show, spinoff show.
Coming soon.
And so meanwhile, poor Cisco gets kicked to the curb while Kendra goes off with Hawkman.
I know. Just wrong, right?
I've been there, bro. I feel you.
It's not good.
I feel you, Cisco.
Yeah.
So
and then Felicity gets a vibe that something's up with Ollie, which it is.
Right.
And there's something going on with Malcolm.
Yep.
And he calls him an old friend.
Still old friend.
Which is creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you give these two episodes together?
Together, I gave this one. Let's see. I had two separate ratings, but the first one I gave 9 out of 10 exploding churches.
Okay.
For part 1, and then 8.5 out of 10 staves of Horus for the second part.
Okay. Staves. It's
yes.
staves.
I understand.
Okay.
Battle staves. Yeah.
I play a video game with her.
I believe you.
In it. Okay.
I believe you.
So I give it 9 finished. Or is it?
Dun dun dun.
Setups.
Right.
And then lastly, Jessica Jones, number 2, aka Crush Syndrome.
Right.
Very good. I thought. Jessica is being asked about. It starts at the end of the last episode where she's being asked about Hope
Right.
and why she had a bag packed. And she gets dropped off at Luke's bar
Right.
and sees he's also being questioned by the police.
Right. The Popo.
Right. So she ends up going into the bar, and Cage is very upset and wants to know why she took the pictures of Gina. And
Cold shoulder.
Big time.
Big time.
And she tells him a complete lie.
Right.
And says that her husband hired her to take the picture, which is totally not true.
Yep.
So this
kind of a dick move.
A really dick move, because it ends up with him getting upset with Gina and outing her husband, and then Gina going to her husband and outing the fact that she was having an affair.
Right. Which
figuring that her husband already knew.
Guess what?
Right. Whoops.
It's kind of hard to feel bad for the woman who was cheating on her
right.
husband.
It's bad but still.
Yeah. And then the husband gets all pissed, gets his rugby buddies.
Right. Gets his hockey buddies. They go over and they try to beat up Luke Cage,
which is laughable
is
because
pretty impervious.
Yeah, because he's got his powers.
Right.
Which we find out in this episode.
Right. So Jessica Jones doesn't know this, of course. Mm-hmm. She goes over to assist him because Gina shows up and says, well, thanks. Now my husband is going to go beat up.
Yeah. Luke.
Beat up Luke Cage. So you're welcome to him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be messed up.
And then Jessica
goes, oh, crap.
Oh, crap. Yeah, exactly.
It's not really crap.
And heads for,
Right. So she picks up her coat. She runs out. She's going to go save Luke Cage. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
And she ends up getting there, and she sees that Luke is already quite adept at taking care of himself. But she steps in and...
Yeah, she helps out. It's not like she just stands by.
Oh, no. She helps out real good. And Luke notices that she is throwing people around like tissue paper. And she notices that Luke is getting stabbed with a bottle, a jagged bottle edge.
They break a bottle over his head.
Right. And the guy stabs him in the neck with the jagged edge, and it doesn't go in. She sees all that, and they're kind of realizing that maybe they're kindred spirits in a way.
Right.
But they're not really admitting to it. She runs out at one point after he kind of, confronts her about it.
Right.
And there's a bit of a confrontation, but he tells her that she's not really welcome there anymore. And then he offers free shots to everyone in the bar.
Right.
Pretty much just tells her to run along now.
Well, that was the first time she got in the bar.
Oh, the first time.
Yeah, he told her she wasn't welcome when
the first time.
When the cops were there.
Okay, she just runs away the second time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then at the end of the episode, I'm just going through the Luke Cage storyline.
I understand.
At the end of the episode, he shows up at her house. He's just lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, he's kind of hanging out in her living room, which I was like,
well, her door's open all the time.
It's true.
That's the deal.
She won't get the damn door fixed.
No, she just pushes away anyone who comes to fix the door.
Right.
So he shows up and he says that, he saw what was going on with her, that she threw that guy across the room and that she must have something going on. And she doesn't really talk about anything that, I just wanted to help.
Right.
She won't really confess to anything. And he turns on a power saw and shoves it into his stomach, into his abdomen.
And then the saw breaks.
And yeah, the saw is all crackling off and everything.
Yep.
And she reaches out and touches him. And he said, "You can't fix me. I'm unbreakable."
Well, he says, "Oh, cool. Like, you can't fix me. I'm unbreakable."
Right. All and then, alpha male and crap.
And then the porn music plays.
Right. Although there's no porny stuff going on. It's just like, yeah.
Well, not
she touches him.
not to episode 3.
Well, there was already some in the first episode.
That's right. I know, but there's more.
Okay.
Lots more.
And then Trish is trying to help her throughout the episode. She sends over a guy to fix the door. She ends up attacking the guy and putting him in the hospital. Trish brings her inserts for the door.
Because she didn't tell Jessica that she was doing that.
It's true.
So Jessica
to
really,
be fair,
or Trish kind of put that guy's life in jeopardy.
I agree. And Trish knew that she was putting,
because Trish knows her powers.
right.
So yeah.
She also gave,
And the fact that that Jessica is all PTSD.
right. She also gave Jessica a glass insert for the door that says alias investigation. So we get our alias nom de plume, whatever.
Well, she gets it back. It was already on the door before.
Right.
And she makes a comment. Well, it's like the font's different.
Yeah, she doesn't like that the font's different. She likes the status quo very much.
Well, it's kind of funny. She doesn't like. She calls Trish back. She doesn't call her to thank her for the door.
Right.
Or the window, or what. She just says, and it's kind of like how sisters would be toward each other.
Right.
She says she just immediately launches like, the font's different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the font.
Right.
That's her way of saying thank you. Is I didn't like the font.
Right. Now, her upstairs neighbors have been bothering her with sex noises, right?
Or weird noises.
Okay.
Something's going on.
I thought there were sex noises last week.
Well, in this episode, we find out that
here's why I'm saying it. Okay. Because there's all kinds of fighting noises in this episode while she's looking over clippings of a bus accident.
Yep.
And she can't stand it anymore. She is tromping down the hall and
goes upstairs.
Her buddy's in the hall and her buddy's like, do I hear
Malcolm,
that? Or is it
in my head?
Right. And she says, no, it's not in your head. So she goes upstairs and she interrupts them. And the woman, of course, is belligerent with her because they're in the middle of this fight about cordon bleu. Chicken cordon bleu.
Yeah, she's like, do you know what that is?
Is it French? Yeah. And she ends up picking up the woman by her neck and hauling her up on the wall.
Right.
And telling her essentially to shut up.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care what you do as long as you do it quietly.
Right. And the weird thing is that the woman is kind of half dressed and the boy or man or whatever he is, the man boy.
He's got his pants off.
He's in his tidy whities.
Yeah.
Which is so unbecoming. I don't think anyone should ever wear those.
Well, she just chide him for being naked.
Still?
I know.
Do you walk around in front of your brothers and sisters in your underwear? Okay. So there's a weird relationship happening there because
there's something going on there.
Yeah. So he throughout the episode runs into her and apparently is kind of crushing on Jessica. And saying, no one has ever made my sister shut up. And it was a shock to me because I thought for sure that last week they were sex noises.
Right.
And now that I find out they're brother and sister, I am totally creeped out by this.
As well you should be.
Okay. And then the sister flips her off later in the episode.
Yeah, the sister is like a complete sociopath.
Right. She's a psycho.
Yeah,
she's like holding his hand and stuff.
Right. It's
weird.
Yeah, disturbing.
It is, again, flowers in the attic.
Yeah.
I hate to bring that up twice, but.
Yeah, who knew that was a connection?
Right. So she's investigating this bus crash, and it's apparently something she caused through, and it's how she killed the purple man.
Right.
Kilgrave.
It was a bus.
Right.
There was a bus crash that supposedly she thought killed him.
Killed Kilgrave.
Killed Kilgrave.
Right. And she tracks through all these clues. She tracks down the doctor who removed 2 kidneys from one of the accident
ambulance
victims. Was it the ambulance victim?
It was the ambulance driver.
Right.
Yeah, that picked him up.
Who was a match for Kilgrave. The doctor that he chose has now resigned from being a doctor. He is lecturing at, it looked like a university or something.
Yeah.
She tracks him down and realizes that Kilgrave forced him to do this surgery Uh,
without anesthesia,
right,
because he otherwise wouldn't have his control of his powers.
right. And this is now she realizes that Kilgrave has this vulnerability that if anesthesia is used on him, his
Hmm.
powers are gone. So it's whatever these drugs are that are used as anesthesia. And in a very sad part of this episode, she goes to see the ambulance driver who had both kidneys removed,
Hmm.
and he said,
Yeah.
"Kill me." And
Yeah. He apparently had a stroke
yeah,
after having his kidneys removed.
yeah,
So he's on dialysis. He's had a stroke. All he can do is kind of like with one hand kind of scribble words out. He's trying to write a message to Jessica. Jessica thinks at first he's writing Kilgrave, and she's like, "Oh, I know, Kilgrave, I know."
right,
But it's like that kill part turns into kill me.
right. And his poor mother thinks that Jessica has upset him.
Well, and his mom's all about God.
Right.
Like
Oh, that
just
poor
goes
guy.
on, and he's just like, "I'm in hell here."
Yeah.
And she's like, and Jessica's like, "I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
so
She
sorry."
said, "I'm sorry," before she
Yeah.
left. She
Right.
mouthed it to him.
Right.
And I
Right.
felt so horrible. That was heart-wrenching.
Hmm.
So this man has just ruined so many lives, this
Yep.
Kilgrave. And so now she realizes that this guy is terrible. I mean, he could have survived on one kidney, as she points out, as the
Yep.
doctor points out. And but he wants to be whole. So he
Right.
wants both kidneys from this guy.
What I want to know is on the subject of the kidneys, he should be taking like medicine, because so to prevent chances of rejection
Well,
on this kid.
he says the doctor says he's going to need 2 new ones.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's because he's not taking those rejection meds, and
Right.
so he's not taking care of them. He's not doing anything. It means they're going to wear out soon.
So he'll just figured he'll get somebody else
Right.
and just swap it out like auto parts.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's probably not really keeping up with anything. He's just dealing with it.
Right.
He's mind controlling his kidneys to work. And in another scene,
kidneys.
Right.
Kidneys.
Right. And his kidneys are going, ambulance driver, ambulance driver.
Right.
Because they're at First Street.
Right. The kidneys are going Birch Street.
Right, exactly.
Cobalt Lane, whatever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And Kilgrave, even though we don't see his face, we know it's him, enters a home, and he does that sort of "these aren't the droids you're looking for" thing throughout the house. He says, "You're going to invite me in. I'm going to be staying here with you for a while." He tells the kids that they shouldn't be seen or heard, and to get into the closet, they got to pee in there. If they have to pee, they're going to pee in there.
And the poor little girl does.
Yeah.
Because she can't leave the closet.
Right. And
this is our first good look at David Tennant as the Purple Man.
Sort of from the back.
From the back, but yeah, he talks. Yeah. We don't get a full look.
We hear him.
We hear him, and we kind of see his face a little bit.
She says whatever the dinner it is that she's made, it's a specialty, and he's very threatening about it. He says, "We'll see." Mm-hmm. And it almost makes you feel like, oh well, if it's not, then off with your head.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So he's got a place to stay, and there's that. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Oh, and Trish is learning how to fight.
Yes, you're right.
She's learning how to disarm someone.
She's doing Krav Maga, apparently.
Krav Maga. Isis knows how to do that. And I'm talking about Archer Isis.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hope you're talking about that.
I am.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so what did you give this episode?
I enjoyed this. It's been such a great series. I give this one 9 out of 10 power saws.
See, I gave it 8.5. He won't be able to return that power saws.
Nice. We're really in the.
I know we really are. We really are. Now we do have a piece of feedback from Justina.
Okay.
So let me play that.
Hi, Karen and Charles. Another great week of comic.
Hi, Justina.
Here we go. Supergirl gets 9 out of 10 automotive punching bags. I really love what the writers did with this episode. Everyone has challenges, no matter who you are, even if you're a superhero. She may be the maid of steel, but she's also just like us. She has trouble at work, she wants to keep her family safe, and she wants to find love. Kara's life is difficult. Her parents are dead, she's a stranger in a strange world, and the mission she was sent to Earth for is no longer valid since she got stuck in the Phantom Zone. She is still trying to strike a balance and find her place in this world. And I like how the writers showed emotional vulnerability and physical vulnerability in this episode. Gotham. Wow, that was a great first half of the season. I know this is Elseworlds, but having grown up on the Batman movies, I find myself having trouble having any sense of urgency when Bruce's life is in danger. My mind just goes, he's going to grow up to be Batman. Everything's going to be just fine. Do either of you have that problem too? I
It's
do
kind of
like
a
the sound
flaw of the
designer on the
series.
show
Yeah.
made the ticking of the clock very pronounced in this episode, so you could literally hear the minutes of Bruce Wayne's life slipping away.
Mm-hmm.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I love Fitz and Simmons. I just love them. My heart was breaking for them in this episode, and my heart was also breaking for Coulson.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like we're going to end this half of the season on the blue planet, so I'm very, very excited to
Blue
see how this
filter
all
planet.
turns out.
Blue filter
Flash and
planet.
Arrow. I'm going to rate these together. 10 out of 10 ashes of an immortal being. I know there's been some annoyance about Flash and Arrow both spending a lot of time setting up Legends of Tomorrow, but it hasn't bothered me, and it has really, really done its job. I am really looking forward to Legends of Tomorrow.
Which
I
is
want
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver and Felicity to stay together, not because they're adorable and I ship them, which I do, but that's not the point. That saving your city is such a large thing. It's too hard to focus on that. And Oliver told Barry in this episode that he was wrong, that heroes can't get the girl. And I think Barry being with Patty and Oliver being with Felicity could actually help their cause. Give them something very specific to focus on. A very specific reason why they want to save their cities and why they want the world to be better. And oh my gosh, Baby Arrow! I've been waiting so long for this. Yet another reason to focus Oliver in and make him want to make the world a better place. I also really respect William's mother for not cashing that check. Then there's Merlin. Malcolm Merlin doesn't do anything without expecting something for himself in
Damn
return.
straight.
So I got to thinking now. He's Ra's al Ghul, which would normally come with the benefit of having a really long life. But Nyssa destroyed the Lazarus Pit. So did Merlin collect Vandal Savage's ashes in the hopes of extracting magic out of them to make himself immortal? It just seems something that Malcolm Merlin would do. And Jessica Jones. I'm really enjoying this so far.
Excellent.
I'm also watching one episode a week.
Yay.
So I just watched episode 2. I smiled at the Grey's Anatomy reference, and I just love the character of Jessica Jones. She's just so sassy. I know you said some people are comparing this to Supergirl, but this is so much darker. I think that the reason that I'm liking it better so far is that it is more psychological and less blood. I've yet to see Kilgrave's face, but I'm totally petrified of him. Have a super...
And you will be.
And you should be.
You will be.
Yes, that's right. Thanks, Justina.
Thanks, Justina.
Very insightful.
Mm-hmm.
Love your feedback, Justina. And if you would like to leave feedback, you can tweet us at Fandom Zonecast. You can leave messages for us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Fandom Zone Podcast. And you can email us at fandomzonecast@gmail.com.
Awesome. And Karen, where can they reach you?
At Elevaria on the Twitter machine. And there is an About Me link on my bio with all my links and everything else.
Fantastic.
And where can they reach you, Charles?
Everywhere else. At Charles Skaggs on Twitter machine.
That's right, machine.
Machine. At Charles Skaggs on Instagram. Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus. Facebook, of course. And my blog of geeky things, Damn Good Coffee, and Hot. where I talk about all kinds of comic book on TV shows. Just posted a little trailer for Powers Season 2 today.
All right.
So, which actually looks like they actually spent maybe a couple more bucks on it.
Really?
And they've got like Trisha Helfer,
Ooh.
Michael Madsen. Yeah, so they've got some,
Yeah, but there were some
actual-
good names in the first season too, and
I know,
didn't
but
do jack
we'll
for me.
we'll see. But yeah, who knows?
I'll
But
give it a shot.
yeah. Anyway, Will Wheaton.
Is going to be in season 2?
Yep, he's gonna be in season 2.
Hmm.
He's in the trailer. So yeah, just
Will I
check it
have
out.
to catch up though? Because season 1,
Yeah, I know. I understand.
I couldn't watch it anymore.
I get it. You probably could watch like episode 10
And
and know
know.
exactly what happened,
Okay.
and then watch season 2 if you wanted
All
to.
right. All right. That's cool.
Yep.
And lots of updates on like people who are directing and being cast and things like that.
Stuff like that, which I also
which is
post on our
awesome.
Fandom Zone Facebook page.
And one of the things I like, and I'm not joking around here, and I'm not trying to plug it just gratuitously, but on your blog, you post when someone has been cast in a role on a show, and then
Right.
you post like a description of the character they're playing.
and not
like-
just a tiny description.
No, a huge long description, and I love it. I read it every time, and I'm like, right, I remember that guy. and it really helps me to figure out, what maybe I should read this to get back up to speed, or maybe I shouldn't because they're not casting him in that kind
Right.
of role or something like that. And I really love
Well,
that you do
so-
some research on that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. As a comics book fan, of course, long time. Yeah, it's just a good excuse. This casting information is a great excuse to kind of like talk about the character they're supposed to be playing. So kind of give you like an idea of where the character should go. Doesn't mean there will,
Right,
but it gives you an idea what they could do with the character on the show.
right. But here's the background of it.
Right. Again,
And-
because some of these characters are very obscure.
Right, right.
So again, that's why I post this stuff.
Exactly.
So like, hey, you might want to like, you're not going to know Jem, son
No.
of Saturn.
No,
That's
Son of
gonna be on
Saturn.
Supergirl.
Right, right. In fact, a lot
That's
of
what-
people didn't even know Hank Henshaw.
Yeah.
Because he was in a short arc,
Right.
even though it was a pretty important one. If you didn't read Superman,
Yeah, if you didn't read Superman, you wouldn't
Right.
know who Cyborg Superman is.
right? So they cast him, and to me it was exciting because I knew who he was, but a lot of people didn't. So
Right.
when you post things like that, he's being cast as Hank Henshaw. You put in a blurb about who Hank Henshaw was, what his background was, that he was Cyber Superman in the Rise of the Superman comic and that arc.
And this
all
is
that
the
stuff.
crap that Cyborg Superman did to
Right.
Superman.
Right,
So, yeah.
exactly. And I really love that. I love reading it when you do things like that. And
Well, thank you.
I got to give you kudos. I don't really plug you enough. So
Aw,
people need
you
to
do
read your
you do
blog.
you do plenty.
Well, anyway,
Just keep sharing the links.
I think you deserve more than what you get. So
Well,
you
thank
really do a lot of work on that page.
Well, thank you.
Your
I
blog's
try.
awesome. All right, so that's where you can reach us. You need to reach us because we're awesome.
Oh,
And-
shucks.
During that feedback, Charles was doing something really mean, and he was showing me his shirt and a John Barrowman picture, and I was trying not to smile and laugh, but I was paying attention to the feedback, just so you know.
She was distracted by the Barrowman.
Just so you know. Yeah, so I guess that's it for this episode. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
that's everything.
So,
We had a lot
see.
to cover, but wow.
yep, you did good. You
Thank
did good.
you.
Excellent
right.
as always.
So,
So shorter week next week.
yes, much shorter week next week.
Yeah, thankfully.
So episode 37 to come next week, and we will talk to you then.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Wow.